Hey everybody, so I was out on a jog this morning close to my house and jogging down the trail, I do trail running. All of a sudden the sirens went off in our area, and within a few seconds there were huge explosions over my head as the Iron Dome rockets took down two missiles which would have otherwise landed very close to me. So I'm very thankful to God that I'm alive to do this video. I'm also thankful to the IDF for using Iron Dome to protect the lives of us Israelis, and also thankful to the United States, which has helped to the United States government, which has helped to fund the Iron Dome program and its development. The big question is, why is this happening right now? Why are we still being attacked from the Gaza Strip after we've done everything we can, after Israel has gone out of its way to make peace with the Palestinians living in the Gaza Strip, including forcefully removing over 8,000 Jewish residents from Gaza in 2006. Yes, our government sent police and military into homes of Jewish people to remove them from these areas as a concession to the Palestinians, which have created an area in which no Jews live whatsoever, and yet they're still bombarding us with missiles. Why is this? I think the answer to that is that it's not really about the Gaza Strip. The terror organizations that are attacking us right now, and specifically an organization called the Islamic Jihad organization, sees the whole land of Israel. What you see today, when you look at a map of Israel, they see that as illegally occupied Palestine. And so they have clearly said, we will continue to attack Israel. Jihad is the only way, violence is the only way, until we recapture Palestine, referring to the whole map, which has been in Jewish hands since 1948. So in a sense, Israel is still fighting its war of independence. Our neighbors in this area still don't accept the fact that there's a Jewish state in the land of Israel, which has existed now for around 75 years. So what has created this new outbreak of violence that we see now? Well, the organization which I mentioned, the Islamic Jihad, has now obtained ground-to-air missiles. These are Russian-made missiles, which have been paid for and provided by Iran, that are laser-guided missiles, which make them extremely accurate and extremely dangerous. And they are accurate up to a distance of 5 kilometers, within which, within 5 kilometers from the Gaza Strip, you have a lot of Jewish communities. And the Islamic Jihad organization said, we will fire these missiles at Jewish communities. The Israeli government demanded that they retract that statement and said, if you don't, we're going to have to take out your missile firing capability. Not only did they not retract that statement, they said, we will definitely use these missiles. We're not retracting anything. So Israel did pinpointed strikes, killed over 15 terrorists, 2 of the senior leadership of the military wing of the Islamic Jihad within the last few days. Fortunately, we're able to use highly accurate weaponry with minimal civilian casualties. This has triggered them firing hundreds, over 400 rockets as we speak right now, towards civilian targets in Israel. Thank God that we have the Iron Dome, which has taken most of them down. And as we speak, until now, there haven't been any Israeli casualties. So we're very thankful for that. And we thank you for all of our friends out there who continue to pray for Israel and pray for the peace of Jerusalem. So you have Iran, which is funding these Russian-made missiles, supplying them to these militant terrorist organizations in the Gaza Strip, which are firing them at Israel. What is the solution to this? Will this go on forever? I mean, if you've been following the news and following with Israel, you see that we have these flare-ups almost on an annual basis that last 1 or 2 weeks, and it create a lot of stress and anxiety, and unfortunately some casualties on either or both of the sides. So is there a solution to this? I believe that there is a solution. As Israel's making peace with its neighbors in the greater Middle East, by and large, we can say that there is no longer an Arab-Israeli conflict. We've made peace with most of the big players in the Arab League, including the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, South Sudan. Now we're working on a peace deal behind the scenes with Saudi Arabia. Good relations now and getting better with Egypt and Jordan. I believe that we will be able to, and we should, leverage the relationships with these other larger and stronger Arab nations in order to find a solution to the Gaza Strip problem. I think since the Gaza Strip shares a border with Egypt, and since Egypt is a relatively moderate Western-backed nation, it would be appropriate to to request that Egypt gets more engaged with the Gaza Strip to bring more law and order there in a more direct way. For all of our biblical scholars out there, you're probably aware of the chapter of Isaiah 19, which talks about this end-time vision that we're going to have peace, and it says the highway will be created between Egypt, Israel, and Assyria, which is probably talking about Syria or Iraq today. And those three countries are going to be called a blessing in the earth by God. And so, I think this should inspire us to move towards that, to build stronger relations with Egypt and with these other Arab partners around the Middle East. And as that happens, I think it would be wonderful, like I said, if Egypt does get more involved in kind of bringing law and order into the Gaza Strip. I think that would be a much better solution than Israel having to continue to go in and carry out these military operations. Our commerce with Egypt has grown over the last year or two following the Abraham Accords, which is wonderful. I'd like to see more of their engagement. Right now, they are interested in the situation. They are both Egypt and Qatar are being sort of a go-between between the Palestinian militant organizations and Israel, trying to broker a ceasefire, which is good. But I think it would be great if Egypt could even get more involved as a better and more permanent solution to the issue we have in the Gaza Strip. And it would definitely be in their interest, since, like I said, they also share a border and have commerce coming in and out of the Gaza Strip. So the last question is it a safe time to visit Israel? And I would say absolutely yes. First of all, we have the Iron Dome, and it is successfully taking out these rockets that are being fired at Israel. And second of all, these flare-ups, like I said before, usually last 1 or 2 weeks. I would be very surprised if this current situation has not subsided within a week. One of the reasons for that is that Hamas is not getting involved. This might come as a surprise to you, but there are several militant organizations in Gaza, Hamas being the strongest and the one that's really in government there. It's much stronger than the Islamic Jihad organization. It has said, we are not going to join them. We're not going to get involved. And it's basically letting Israel make these pinpointed attacks at the leadership of the Islamic Jihad organization while it's standing on the sidelines. You could say that the reason they're doing that is because they don't have the strength to attack Israel right now. They're still recovering from the last military engagement we'd had with them. And if they did have the strength, they would join the fray. That might be the case. But in any case, they're not engaged right now. The Islamic Jihad organization is much smaller. Soon they'll be out of rockets. And if you haven't booked a trip to Israel yet, please go to our website at ariseforisrael.com. We do have 2 trips coming up in November and December. Go to our tab on Arise Tours, and you'll see we have an exciting business and innovation tour, which I know that you will just get a lot out of. You'll be inspired, and your business and your life will benefit from it. So please sign up and register today for the Arise Tours. I look forward to seeing you myself here in Israel in November or December. All the best.